Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So in today's video, I'm going to show you guys some small little things that you can do to add some oomph to your stash. So a lot of people have emailed me, sent me letters and cards and notes and this, that, and another saying, you know, that they're getting into crafting or that they're getting back into crafting and that, you know, their stash isn't that large or, you know, whatever might have you. So I just kind of want to come on here today and tell you, you don't have to have a large stash in order to do a lot of stuff with your projects. And today I'm going to show you how to add a little bit of oomph, if you will, to your stash. So the first thing that I want you guys to do is grab some scrap paper. Now I have this little stack over here beside me because this is my workstation as well as my recording station. So I have this little stash. It's literally right beside me where I have a scrap paper and I stick it underneath. I have another scrap paper and I stick it underneath, okay? So what we're gonna do right now is we're gonna grab our scrap papers. And this is just some scrap papers that I've been using over the past various projects that I've been working on. And we're just gonna go from there. So kind of organized by size what you have. So these are the longer strips. And if you don't have that much, then that's okay. And if you do, that's okay too. And you have some of them that are punched, that's okay too. We're going to get all of this. Okay, all of these are about the same. So we're gonna set these aside for the moment. Now, with these, take a couple that you want to use. All right, so I'm gonna go with this. Now, take your scissors, and if you don't have a rectangle, then all you have to do is straighten it up to make it be a rectangle. So if you have like, I don't know if it's cut like this, then just kind of straighten it up to make it become a rectangle. And then you're going to create a tag out of here. So what you're going to do is you're going to cut the corner here, and you're going to flip this little piece over. So I need more hands. You're going to take this portion that you just cut and you're going to flip it. Just like that. We're going to push it all the way up here against the corner. And we're going to use that as a guide to cut the other side. Okay? And now we are going to punch a hole in the middle right there. And now we have a tag. And now you can put this with all of the other tags that you just made from your rectangle stash. So let's do that again. We're going to cut to create a rectangle. We're going to cut the side corner or the upper corner. Use that piece to create a template for the other side. Push it to the corner right there. Use your scissors up against the template to cut the other side, and voila. Then you're going to take your puncher and you're going to punch a hole. And now you have a second tag. And the great thing about doing it like this is you can create a lot of different tags, and they are all different in sizes, they're different in color, but they match each other because you're using the paper that came from, you know, the same section because they're stash. And if you're using paper that is, you know, all mixed and matched and whatnot, don't worry about it because you will find a project to use those tags on because you at some point used that paper. So just stay positive and you will be able to work it out. Now, something else that you could do is you could take your punches, your little tiny punches, whatever little punches you might have, and you can, this one's hard, like it's really hard to punch. You can just punch stuff out. I'm not gonna do that. Okay, so I'm gonna do a couple more here. I'm gonna do it this way because it's easier. Believe it or not, this little tiny punch is really hard to punch through stuff. Maybe it's because it's so tiny, I don't know. Okay, so now I have a couple little holes that I just punched out. I'm going to make my rectangle. Then I'm going to cut my corners. I'm going to cut my corners. I'm going to guess here. You do not have to do that whole method of, you know, perfect angle thing. You could just guess, which is what I just did. And you take your little, sorry, my glue thing was stuck. So you take your little punch that you just cut out, and you then put it on the tag that you just made, like so, and it adds just a little bit of an embellishment to that brand new tag. Then you take your hole puncher and you punch a hole through that, and then you pick up the whole thing because you're not patient like me, and it's not, and you didn't wait for it to dry. So there you go, just like that. So you have another tag. Then you can take your other pieces here, and you can either just kind of make a collection of the little holes, and when you're making more tags, you can add them to them, or you can use them as embellishments. Something else that you can do is take your paper and fold it in half, just like so. So this is a heavier cardstock. This is not a thin cardstock. This is a heavier cardstock. Okay, so this is what we just did. We made a little folder, if you will. Now, you can actually create a little tiny divider or a little tiny file folder with this, just simply by cutting a portion of it off. Okay, and now you can either round the corners with a machine that you might have, or you can just simply take your scissors and round the corners, which is what I'm going to do. Okay, and voila. Now you have this cute little file folder that you can use for an embellishment, or you can, you know, I would use it for an embellishment personally, but there you go. That's something else that you can add to your stash of embellishments. So something else that you can do to create your stash of embellishments. So we've made tags, we've made hole reinforcers, and now we've made little mini pocket folders. Something else that you can do is you can take your crepe paper that you get 2 rolls in a pack for $1 at the Dollar Tree. Very, very, very inexpensive to get, and one single roll will last a really, really, really long time. So what you're going to do is you're going to take your crepe paper, cut a decent amount off, and you're going to create a rosette. I fold the cut end under, and then I will take the end that I'm holding here, push it up underneath the secured part that is always under my thumb and my middle finger. Then take the next portion that the slack, take a piece of the slack, again, fold it at an angle up underneath the portion that is secured underneath your thumb and your finger of choice. It just happens to be my middle finger, okay? And again, you just keep pulling from the slack, keep going at an angle, and you will naturally have that curve that will create a circle, okay? Now you do this in various colors of the season at the time. If you choose to do multiple colors for a specific season, like for me, I did multiple colors for Christmas, so just do multiple colors. If you only do a set amount of colors, then do the set amount of colors. Once you have a decent amount of these, then you can pull from here to create embellishments. Use your stapler to staple right down in the middle, and voila. Now, I have pre-made a bunch of these already, and they're in, as my pencils, they're in a bag, which is why you hear a bag, but I'm not going to pull all of them out. So I pre-made a bunch of these, and Now, anytime that I need a specific color, then I can just go into this little bag and pull out those colors, okay? So now that we have our rosettes, we can create more things to go into our embellishments. Okay, so the next thing that you want to do is use your scraps and use your punches. If you don't have punches, that's okay, because most people, at least I would like to think so, can draw a heart. So draw a heart, okay, and then draw another heart and another heart, and then cut them out, okay? If you're like me, you don't really like fussy cutting, I would suggest investing in punches. If you don't have the money for investing in punches, just fussy cut it. It's not a big deal. I'm not a fan of fussy cutting. I don't like it. I don't have the mental capacity to sit so still for such a long time. If I sit too still, I will start jittering because I have to be moving. And yeah, so anyway, it is a possibility for you to get these little tiny embellishments without punches, okay? And if you want stars, then create a star and then cut around it. So I just created a star. And I don't know if you are going to be able to see it because my big old fat fingers. But I'm just going to cut around it. Okay? And just keep cutting. Oh. I missed. So the star's a little bit more of a pill because I made it so tiny. But it is easier to cut because it's just snip, 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 snip. You know? So it does make it a little bit easier. And also too, when the really good thing about doing it like this is all of your little embellishments are going to be different. They are not going to be the exact same size every single time because every time you draw them, they're going to be a different size and a different, you know, shape. The hearts may not be exactly the same shape every time or even the same size. Okay, so I have here a few little hearts. Oops, I flipped it upside down. And a star, all of which I cut out without using punches. So now we can add this to our little circle pile of little tiny embellishments to be added to the larger embellishments. Now, the next thing that you can do is you can simply punch a hole in the top of a very long rectangle. Make sure that it's semi-straight. If you guys know me, then semi-straight is a pretty darn good thing because, well, I don't really do straight very well. So decide, you know, if it's directional, which direction you want to go with it, and then punch a hole in the top of it. And you have yourself a bookmark. Put some twine or ribbon or something in there and you have yourself a bookmark. So the next thing that we can do is look at our, this is pretty thick and I don't think this one's going to work. Okay, we'll use this one. This one's a little bit thinner, or not thinner, it's larger so I can see what I'm doing. So because it is larger, the likelihood of getting a straight line with scissors, or at least those scissors, are small. You can absolutely use nothing but scissors if you don't have a trimmer. You can also use a box cutter or a craft knife. They are available for a pack at the Dollar Tree. So again, very affordable, very accessible. Get a roller, get a box cutter, or a craft knife, and just follow along that line. So what I'm going to show you guys how to do here is make an envelope. It's very, 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 very simple. The easiest way to create an envelope is fold your paper up without touching this line. Okay, we're going to fold it and then we're going to crease it here. Okay, and if your paper is really, really thick like mine is, it's going to kind of crack right here. Use a little ink of the same color and it'll hide that really well, really well. So open this back up. We're going to snip in, let's see, about a 1/2 inch. Same thing on this side. We're going to snip in about a 1/2 inch. Yellow. There we go. And then we're going to fold up from that line. Okay. And we're just going to simply fold it right over like so. Okay. And then we're going to crease it. We're going to do the same thing on this side. We're going to fold up on that line. And then we are going to crease it. I'm trying to make it straight at the moment. You can absolutely do this with a scoreboard. It would be better with a scoreboard, but not everyone has a scoreboard. Hence the not using of the scoreboard. So we're going to trim off those little corners that we just made. And this is going to be the pocket portion, okay? So we're going to want to trim this down just a little bit, about 1/2 inch. If it's a little more, it's okay. You don't want to go too much more because you still want it to be an envelope, okay? And you can do with your corners whatever you'd like. Now we're going to fold this over. This is going to be our flap. Again, this is more ideal with not really thick paper. I just happen to have really thick paper. So from our fold right here, notice you have a crease right here. We're going to cut in. So it's going to look like the bottom right here on the top. Okay, just like that. We're going to do the same thing on this side. And then we're going to cut those little flaps completely off. Just like so. Okay? Just like that. Now what you want to do is decide what you want to do with your corners here. Do you want them to be angled like this, which is what I just did? Or do you want them to be rounded? You can round your corners as well. I'm going to take my heart. I don't mean to take my heart. And then we're just going to glue everything together. Before we glue anything together, though, I want you guys to put some sort of notch, if you will, into this portion right here. Because what that is going to do is it's going to make the contents of the envelope slightly easier to get to. And what I'm doing right now is I'm making the pocket just a smidge shorter. So I cut off about 1/4 inch. Take any kind of punch that you'd like. I typically use a round hole punch and put it in about halfway and punch down. Okay, so we have that, just like that. Okay, now we're just going to glue everything down. And, well, we're going to try to glue everything down. I need the glue to come to the end of the bottle. And then we're going to glue everything down. Okay, there we go. So we're going to glue everything down. And then we're going to have our handy dandy envelope. So in the matter of 20 minutes, I have showed you how to make envelopes out of your scrap paper. The thinner paper does work better if you are not using an envelope punch board. Honestly, if you're using an envelope punch board, in my opinion, the thinner paper works better. So we have made an envelope. We have made our rosettes. We have made tags of various sizes and shapes. And we've made bookmarks. And we have made little mini file folders. And we have made little tiny embellishments to be addition on top of the other embellishments that you have created. Okay? And I'm going to stop the video here, and in the next video we're going to continue on with simple ways of extending your stash for very inexpensive prices. So thank you so much for watching, and until next time. Bye guys.